Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Is clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now after that there is an app config which contain information about the connection related information. Suppose I connect with the SQL server. So that information will be defined inside this app config. Or suppose I use any service. So that service information is automatically added in the app config. So that we discuss later on, right?
Yep.
Now, here, this program CS, that is the name of my application. Program CS, that is a CS file. So in a C++ or C language, at that time the file extension for C is C.C. For C++, that is .cpp. For C#, file extension is .cs.
Okay.
Right? And here, program, that is the name of a class here. Namespace we discuss later on because namespace is actually contain a hierarchical structure, so that I explain you when we work on that. Now here, the main, like in a C or C++, we have the main function, that is the main method. Main is the method through which we can execute our program. For example, here I have to display a message, like simple message. So in this location, we use console dot write line, and I type hello world, something like this. Now after that, I have to execute this. So automatically, it provide you an error message. Suppose I write like console, that spelling mistake in that. So my Visual Studio software automatically detect that. So this keyword not exist in the Visual Studio dictionary, right? And this console definition, that one is defined inside system. So instead of calling system as a DLL file, we called it as a namespace. I right click on this system and go to definition. Here, okay. The definition is not available for this one. Right click, go to definition. So console class definition. So actually this console available inside a system namespace. So this is the internal structure of system. That one is defined inside an assembly called mscallit.u. Right?
Yeah.
So assembly is a collection of DLL and exe files. Right now this assembly contains only DLL file. Now here I show you what is the exe file, right? So now I type this message and here I run this. So you have to run this program, click on start. When you run it, that black screen appear and automatically that one is disappear. So what I have to do here, I have to pause my screen, console.read key. So in that we use getch or something like that. In a C# we use control.read key. Now again I start. So this was the hello world, right? And now I press enter. And here I show you this one, like where is the exe file. Right click on this project and go to the properties. Open folder in File Explorer. And inside this location, click on bin folder, double click on debug, and here demo example.exe. This is the executable file which is generated when I run this program. Now I double click on this. Okay, here I have to open it in a okay, sorry. This hello world. When I click on that file, so automatically it show me this result, right? So in an exe, you can, when you double click on that exe, you can directly see the result of it. Now here I type another line, console dot write line. My first example in C#. For example, Now after that, I have to build this application. So you can click on build. Build means to convert it into a binary format. Again, right click, open folder in File Explorer, then debug, and double click. Here you see that result. So in case of exe, we can directly see the result, but we can't see the result of DLL directly. So when we open any DLL file, it shows that in which application you want to open it, either Notepad or something else, right? So we have to specify that. Clear? This DLL and EX example?
Yes.
Right. So now after this CLR, class library. So as we know that this .NET framework, that supports a different language, right? It supports C++, C Sharp or something like that. C Sharp, C++, VB, A Sharp, F Sharp, so many other languages, right? So for all these languages, there is a class library. This class library contains all the DLL files. Related to all the languages. Now, third one is the development environment. So development environment is your Visual Studio software. Visual Studio 2013 or Visual Studio 2015, whatever software you have, that one is the development environment, where you can create your project, right? So this Visual Studio software, this is called the development environment. So .NET framework that contains three parts, right? CLR, class library, and third one is development environment. Now, what is the role of this CLR? CLR is actually common language runtime, and apart from that, second, memory management. Memory management, that one is done by the CLR, right? Third one, all transaction related work. That one is done by the CLR, right? And you heard about the multi-threading, means we can run a multiple tasks together, multi-threading task. That one is also controlled by the CLR. So you can see CLR is the brain of the computer. Everything inside the .NET framework, that one is controlled by the CLR. Our security authentication, we use the security here, we use a different types of authentication. That one is also maintained by the CLR, security and authentication. That one is also controlled by the CLR, right? So this one is the console application, and inside this console application you have to display any message. That message is display something like this using console.writeLine, and that console.writeLine is available inside a system namespace, right? And I right click, and here I show the DLLs. I go into properties. Sorry, here reference. There are different temporary files are available. Okay, right. Before this, here I showed this one. I go into Microsoft Visual Studio. All apps. Microsoft Visual Studio, and here I click on this command prompt, this studio command prompt. Here I type ILDES. In this location, here I show you one more thing, like open. This file is available in which folder? These are the DLL files. Like here, I click folder in file folder. See, here I paste it. I go in then debug and click here. Okay. So in this location, I display a manifest. Manifest is what? That is data about data. Here I click on demo example. It open a program, and inside it there is a class. That is the program class. So this is like a manifest which is generated in a Microsoft language. Then main method, inside this main method, this information is written. I write two statements, console.writeLine. First console.writeLine, here I type hello world, and in the second one, my first example in C#. So here it generates this information. So this information is called as a manifest. Manifest means data about data. Okay. Example of this one is first. For example, there are two persons. First person you know about English, and second one you know about French. Right? So French person doesn't know about the English, and English person doesn't know about the French. So how they can communicate? In between that, there is we need a translator, right? So the role of this translator is to convert French to English or English to French, right? This one is clear.
Yes.
Now, here we take an example of the software language. You know about C or C++. So at that time, they said that there is a compiler. Right? So what is the role of the compiler? And when you work with C or C++, at that time we said there is a compiler. So that compiler, why that software need a compiler? So the role of this compiler is to convert it into a machine language. Whatever code we type, we want to convert that code in a machine language, right? So that machine can understand. Because we know that the machine work only with 0100, something like this. But we human being work with English language, or otherwise the software installed in a language, we need result in that way, right? So here, English, and this is the compiler, or otherwise interpreter. Interpreter actually that one is used with the VB6.0. Right? And here, inert machine language. So the machine language is 1010, something like this. So role of this compiler is to convert our programming language into a machine format and machine result into normal language in which actually we want to result. Right? Now, in C#, in Visual Studio Software, inside this location, I create my project in. So in this location, first of all, here, one-time compilation is done. C#, in this location, first of all, we need a MSIL compiler, which convert manifest, which generate a manifest. Then after that, that code is taken by GIT compiler, and then it generates a machine code. Machine code is something like this. So 2 times compilation done in Visual Studio. Right? So MSIL, that one stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language. Right? And GIT stands for just-in-time compiler. Right? So here two times compilation first. Whatever the C# code or VB code, that one in a Visual.net, converted it to MSIL code. MSIL code is what? That is the manifest, which I show you. Right? Manifest, we call it as a metadata. Metadata means data about it. So this manifest is in the form of a Microsoft language, right? And after that, that manifest is converted, manifest is taken by the JIT compiler, which convert that code into a machine format. Then machine convert that particular result, and then it's sent to the JIT compiler, and JIT compiler, from JIT compiler it goes in the MSIL, and then finally display in a C# format. So when we use the Visual Studio software, so Visual Studio always done 2 times compilation. Or otherwise, previously when we work with C, C++ or software, so at that time there was only 1 time compilation there. Right? Why 2 times compilation here? Because your Visual Studio software that support different types of languages. So for example, inside my C# project, C# language, I add another project which is in a VB.net. Right? So in that location, how can I combine both of the projects together? So in that location, this MSIL compiler helps to communicate 2 different languages together. Right? So this one is the when we use the Visual Studio software. So Visual Studio software always done 2 times compilation, and other software like suppose Turbo C or the Java software, in that location we have only 1 time compilation, and that compilation is done either by compiler or by the interpreter. Now next one is, what is the difference in a compiler and interpreter? Compiler, which compile whole program first. And display error message at the end. Interpreter compile program line by line. If there is any error in second line or third line, so it is stopped, like cursor is stuck in that location. So until unless you are not correcting that line or you are not removing the error from that line, it never convert the next line into a machine format. So that is the difference in a compiler and an interpreter. Interpreter, that is much faster than that of the compiler, right? But in a C or C++ language, otherwise in a C# we have this compiler. But Visual Studio that support both interpreter as well as the compiler, because here we work with the Windows application as well as we work with the web application and console application. So because of the different types of languages supported by a Visual Studio, different types of templates supported by a Visual Studio, so it provides both compiler as well as interpreter. Clear?
Yes.
So you have any query related to this?
No.
Like what is the .NET framework, and like which one is the current version, or otherwise you have any doubt, you can ask them.
I mean, like, are we going to discuss about C#.NET, ASP.NET and ASP.NET MVC also, or else what would be the classes?
Sorry?
We are going to discuss about C#.NET, ASP.NET and ASP.NET MVC, right?
Yes, but that one is like the course you have to do. But this is the just in demo class, so that's here I show you about the .NET framework
Yes,
first.
yes.
C#.NET, that is actually the language.
Yes,
So
yes.
C#.NET, like within like a half an hour, it's not possible to explain the complete language within a fractions of a second. Here I give you the overview, related to the overview about the MVC. So like in our internet, we see different types of websites, right? So for a website, here we have an MVC. Otherwise, we have a web application.
Okay.
Right?
I know.
So
I
those
just
web
wanted.
applications are like websites, right? Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? So you want to create something like websites, or you want to create your full-fledged website, you can choose a web application. That web application, we have 2 types of web application. One is ASP.NET web application. and second one is the ASP.NET MVC application. Right. So these are the two applications. So MVC in which everything is separated here. MVC that is followed in with the separation of concern pattern. Right. And the ASP.NET includes all the things that one is in a single location. So when we work on this web application at that time, I show the main differences in both of these applications. Because right now, this is about the simple, like .NET framework, right? Because in a demonstration, if I explain about web applications, if I explain about MVC, so that MVC is not a small one, that is also a big one.
Yeah, okay. No, I just wanted to know what all it covers. I mean, like in these classes, what all it covers. Not about the demo class, but are we going to cover the C#, .NET, ASP.NET, ASP.NET, MVC? That is the thing I just wanted.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And how many days would these classes be?
Like it's 1 hour session each day.
Okay.
So for C#, otherwise I send you the course content. You can check that one, and in that it's mentioned day wise how much we cover in a first day or second day.
Okay. I mean, like by the end of all these, I mean, like C#, ASP.NET, and MVC, how many days is it? Would it be 1.5 months, 2 months?
Maximum it will take 2 months. It's 1 hour session per day.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So any query related to this or any other doubt?
No, no. I'll just inform you. I'll inform it to Raidu regarding this.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye.